Emotional unavailability in a partner can be an intricate and challenging aspect of any relationship, especially within marriage. When a husband struggles to express emotions, empathize, or become easily distracted, it can create a significant emotional gap between partners. This disconnect can manifest in various ways, impacting the dynamics and depth of the relationship. The difficulty lies in the longing for emotional connection and support within the marriage. Emotional availability allows for shared experiences, understanding, and a sense of being heard and validated. When a husband finds it challenging to express emotions, it often translates into a struggle to connect on a deeper, more intimate level. The absence of emotional connection can lead to feelings of loneliness and isolation within the marriage. It might feel like there's a lack of partnership, with one person navigating their emotions alone. The inability or unwillingness to empathize can further exacerbate this gap, making it challenging to feel understood or supported in times of need. Furthermore, distractions, whether they stem from work, personal interests, or other factors, can intensify emotional disconnection. It might seem as though your partner's attention is elsewhere, making it challenging to engage in meaningful conversations or experiences together. Living with emotional unavailability can create a sense of unfulfillment and frustration. There might be a continuous yearning for a deeper connection, yet finding it elusive due to the barriers posed by the partner's emotional state. Navigating a marriage with an emotionally unavailable partner requires patience, understanding, and often open communication. Encouraging a safe space for expression, where both partners feel heard without judgment, is crucial. It might involve seeking professional guidance or counseling to facilitate a more profound understanding of each other's emotional needs. Ultimately, addressing emotional unavailability within a marriage is pivotal for fostering a healthier, more fulfilling relationship. It involves a shared commitment to acknowledging, understanding, and working through the barriers that hinder emotional connection and intimacy. The following are some signs that he could be emotionally distant. 1. Emotional anxiety. An emotionally available husband is one who shows their feelings, although that's not always the case. A warning sign would be living in continual worry of having an explosive outburst. When faced with challenging events, he could react emotionally irrationally, such as by becoming angry or frustrated, rather than dealing with the underlying source of his feelings. 2. He can't seem to apologize. Particularly when they are emotionally unavailable, the two-word sentence "I'm sorry" can be quite difficult for people to master. You may hear the expression, "I don't know why you're making such a big deal out of this," all for the purpose of deceiving you and avoiding responsibility. 3. He has issues with trust. It can be a very isolated experience to be married to someone who has difficulty getting others to understand how he is feeling. If you make him talk about his emotions without his will, it will be difficult for him to build meaningful connections with other people. When it comes to certain aspects of his life, such as his childhood or his connections from the past, he may be very secretive about certain circumstances. 4. He wants to avoid conflict. Despite the fact that it is unpleasant, conflict is inevitable in relationships, particularly marriages. It is essential to find a healthy resolution, which does not require avoiding it. On the other hand, a person who is emotionally unavailable may make an effort to avoid conflict resolution by emotionally retreating rather than confronting problems head-on. Possibly, rather than resolving a recent dispute, you have observed that he is spending more time at work or with friends in order to avoid dealing with the stress that is occurring at home. 5. He runs when things become intense. When a husband is confronted with a challenging conversion, he may physically withdraw from the situation or be there but be emotionally removed from the situation. It is possible that they are uncertain about their use of language, their delivery, or even their position. It is also possible that they give the impression of being attentive listeners, yet they have difficulty letting others in. 6. He makes you feel unnoticed. What are your thoughts and feelings about the relationship? Having this in place is crucial. When your partner is emotionally distant, it could be difficult to feel connected to him. You can feel misunderstood, like your experiences don't matter, or that he is not paying attention to what you have to say. 7. He has a fear of vulnerability. This one is really significant, so we don't want to rush through this one. Many people struggle to be emotionally open, especially in close relationships, due to vulnerability anxiety. This underlying fear ties the heart together and limits emotional connection. Vulnerable means sharing hopes, worries, and vulnerabilities without validation. Many fear rejection or criticism and regard this as entering the unknown. This dread may grow in marriage. Trust, honesty, and transparency fuel partnerships. However, vulnerability anxiety may gently inhibit emotional connection. Perhaps this dread is ancient. Storytelling about rejection and betrayal can stick. The anguish from previous experiences may return after all this time, so people avoid being open for fear of revisiting their trauma. Equally crucial are social conventions. Men are meant to be strong and steadfast. Unfortunately, the plot portrays vulnerability as weakness and hides emotional openness. An inexplicable mystery lies within horror. Being frightened to be vulnerable helps avoid pain but also hinders real interactions. When one wants closeness yet fears exposure, controversy emerges. It takes strength and surrender to face this fear. Realizing vulnerability as a strength is key to meaningful connection. Understanding that honesty strengthens emotional bonds is a big step in that direction. Marriage makes vulnerability and fear management collaborative. Creating a safe space for couples to express themselves without judgment requires empathy, effort, and tolerance. Being vulnerable means facing worries head-on, not avoiding them. The most important thing is to create a tolerant, understanding marriage where vulnerability leads to emotional connection. So, now that you have some signs that you can look out for, what are some things you can do to help your husband? Well, create a safe space for him. Do not downplay any of his past traumas. Let him know that he can always confide in you. That you are his safe haven, and his emotions are safe with you. Express to him that it is important to you that he is emotionally strong and stable for your relationship. When he starts to open up to you, let him know how much you appreciate his efforts in doing so. Keep in mind that being with an emotionally unavailable spouse can be challenging, and it can also lead to a separation in the relationship. But if you love the person that you are with, make it your duty and commitment to be devoted to the person that you are married to. Keep hope and always pray. Your marriage can make it through this rough patch successfully. Thanks for watching Motivate My Marriage. Please be sure to like, subscribe, and share.